You've read the books. You've done the therapy. You understand your patterns. And yet, here you are again. Different person, same heartbreak. Same argument, different face. Same hollow feeling sitting in your chest at 2 a.m., asking yourself how you ended up here again. That's not weakness. That's not stupidity. That is, actually, one of the most sophisticated traps the human brain can build for itself. And if you're someone who prides yourself on being self-aware, on thinking your way through problems, this trap is specifically designed for you. This video is about why intelligence doesn't protect you from repeating mistakes in love. And more importantly, it's about what actually does. You know what's uniquely painful about being a smart, self-aware person who keeps getting hurt in relationships? It's not just the heartbreak. It's the confusion on top of the heartbreak. Because you did everything right. You reflected. You journaled. You talked to your therapist, your friends, your cousin who sends you psychology reels at midnight. You made a list of red flags. You told yourself, not this time. And then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, you found yourself in the exact same dynamic. Maybe with someone who looked completely different on paper. Maybe with someone you were sure was healthy for you. And now you're sitting with this awful, humiliating question: what is wrong with me? Here's what I want you to hear before we go any further. Nothing is wrong with you. But something is happening to you that you haven't fully understood yet. And that distinction matters more than you know. I want you to drop a comment right now. Just the number of times you found yourself in the same relationship pattern, even though you swore it would be different. Just a number. No context needed. You'll be surprised how many people write the exact same number as you. Let me paint a specific picture for you. You meet someone. There's an intensity to it, electric, consuming. They make you feel chosen. But somewhere around month 2 or 3, the dynamics shift. They become harder to reach. You find yourself doing more, texting more, giving more, rearranging more. You tell yourself it's just a rough patch. You try harder. And the trying feels like love. It feels like loyalty. It feels like you're a good person because you don't give up easily. Until one day it ends, and you realize you spent 6 months disappearing into someone who was never fully there. And the worst part? You knew. Somewhere early on, you knew. But you stayed anyway. That, staying anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. Because understanding why you do that is the only thing that will actually change it. Here's what most relationship advice completely misses. The problem isn't that you don't know what's good for you. The problem is that your nervous system doesn't care what you know. Your intellect and your emotional wiring are two completely different operating systems. And in love, the emotional operating system almost always wins. Here's the science, and I promise to keep it interesting. Your brain has a part called the limbic system. It's ancient, evolutionarily ancient. It doesn't think in words. It doesn't read books. It processes emotional experiences, and it stores them as felt patterns. Not memories in the intellectual sense, but something deeper, a kind of emotional muscle memory. And when you enter a new relationship, your limbic system is scanning, constantly, automatically, for emotional patterns it recognizes. Not patterns that are good for you. Patterns that feel familiar. Those are two very different things. But to your nervous system, familiarity and safety feel almost identical. That's the trick. Research from the field of interpersonal neurobiology suggests that people unconsciously replicate early emotional dynamics not because they want to suffer, but because the nervous system is literally trying to finish unfinished business from childhood. You are not broken. You are running a very old program. Now here's the counterintuitive part, and this is the thing that I think genuinely reframes everything. The relationships that feel the most right to you, the ones with that magnetic, faded quality, they are statistically more likely to be reactivating old wounds than to be genuinely healthy connections. Let that sit for a second. That feeling of, this is it, the intensity, the instant connection, the sense that you've known each other forever, That can be the limbic system recognizing a familiar emotional shape. Not a soulmate, a pattern mate. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung, The Practice of Psychotherapy. That quote is 2 sentences long. It contains everything. Your patterns feel like destiny because you can't see them. The moment you see them, really see them, not just intellectually understand them, they lose their power. Okay. 3 lies. These are beliefs that feel true, that culture reinforces, that keep you stuck. Let's dismantle them. The lie number 1. If you love someone enough, it will work. The truth. Love is necessary but not sufficient. You can love someone completely, with your whole heart, and still be fundamentally incompatible in how you handle conflict, intimacy, or emotional regulation. Love does not fix avoidant attachment. Love does not repair someone who isn't ready to change. Love is not a strategy. It's an emotion. And running your relationship only on emotion, without structure, boundaries, and compatibility, is like trying to build a house out of sunlight. Beautiful, but not load-bearing. The lie number 2. If it's real, it shouldn't be this hard. The truth. Healthy relationships require real work. But there is a crucial difference between growth discomfort and chronic suffering. Growth discomfort is learning to communicate better, to be more vulnerable, to trust someone new. Chronic suffering is anxiety that never resolves, walking on eggshells, feeling like you're always one wrong move from losing them. One is the natural friction of 2 people building something real. The other is your nervous system screaming at you. The lie tells you that working hard means it's meant to be. The truth is that the kind of hard work matters enormously.
The lie number 3. You just haven't found the right person yet. The truth. The pattern repeats regardless of the person. And this is the one that's hardest to hear, so I want to say it gently. If you had 3 relationships with emotionally unavailable people, the variable isn't bad luck. It's the part of you that chose them, that found them compelling, that stayed. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. The right person won't save you from your patterns. You have to do that work first, or alongside. But the fantasy of the perfect person appearing and everything clicking into place without any inner work, that's not hope. That's an exit strategy from self-awareness. I want to introduce you to a concept that will probably explain more about your love life than anything else you've ever learned. Attachment theory. In the 1960s, British psychologist John Bowlby proposed that the way we bonded with our earliest caregivers, usually parents, create an internal template for how we relate to all close relationships afterward. Later, researchers Mary Ainsworth and Mary Main built on this to identify distinct attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. Here's what this looks like in real life. Sarah grew up with a parent who was warm and affectionate sometimes, and emotionally cold or distracted at other times. There was no predicting it. So young Sarah learned that love was uncertain, that you had to monitor carefully for signs of approval, stay hypervigilant, do more, be more. As an adult, Sarah is smart, successful, funny, deeply caring, and she keeps falling for partners who run hot and cold, not because she wants to be anxious, but because that emotional rhythm feels like home. The inconsistency doesn't feel like a red flag. It feels like love, because love and anxiety got wired together before she could even form a conscious thought about it. The most important thing a father can do for his children is to love their mother. John Bowlby, Attachment and Loss. Attachment styles are not sentences. They are starting points. Secure attachment can be learned. Researchers call this earned security. But you cannot earn it accidentally. You earn it through awareness, through therapy or deep reflection, through consistently choosing and staying in relationships where safety is a baseline, not the reward. Pause the video right now. I'm serious. I want you to think about this. In your most significant relationship, were you mostly relaxed or mostly anxious? Were you waiting for them to leave? Were you monitoring their moods? That answer tells you something important. Sit with it for just 30 seconds before continuing. Here it is. I call this the clear framework. 5 steps to interrupting your love pattern before it fully runs its program. This is designed to be used actively in real time, not as a post-mortem after something has already fallen apart. Step 1. Catch the pull. Before you act on any strong romantic feeling, before you text back immediately, before you make yourself more available, before you justify a behavior that doesn't feel right, pause and name what you're feeling. Not what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Is it excitement? Is it anxiety disguised as excitement? Is it the pull of familiarity? The simple act of naming the feeling activates the prefrontal cortex and gives you a split second of choice. That split second is everything. Step 2. Locate it in your body. Where you feel this emotion physically. In your chest? Your stomach? Your throat? This isn't abstract. It's neurological. Emotions are physical before they're verbal. If you can locate the sensation and breathe into it for 10 seconds, you interrupt the automatic response. You are literally slowing down the limbic hijack. Step 3. Examine the pattern. Ask yourself honestly, have I been here before? Not with this person, but in this emotional place. Does this dynamic have a shape you recognize? The intensity, the uncertainty, the need to prove yourself. Does this have a history? You don't have to answer perfectly. You just have to ask the question without flinching. Step 4. Ask the right question. Most people ask, do I like this person? That's the wrong question. Ask instead, how do I feel about myself when I'm around this person? Do you feel more like yourself or less? Do you feel calmer or more anxious? Do you feel seen or performed? Your relationship with yourself inside the relationship is the most honest data you have. Step 5. Respond from your values, not your wounds. This is the step that takes the most practice. It means making decisions in love based on what you actually want your life to look like. Your values around honesty, safety, growth, partnership, rather than what your nervous system is craving in that moment. It means sometimes choosing the person who feels less exciting because you recognize that the excitement was anxiety. It means staying when repair is possible and leaving when it isn't based on reality, not fear. Which step of the clear framework do you think is going to be hardest for you personally? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know because your answer might shape a future video. 3 shifts. These are not affirmations. These are actual cognitive reframes backed by how the brain processes belief and behavior. Shift 1. Old thought. I keep making the same mistakes because something is fundamentally wrong with me. New thought. I keep making the same choices because I'm running an old program. Programs can be rewritten. This is a skill problem, not a soul problem. This matters because shame shuts down learning. If you believe you are broken, you stop looking for solutions and start looking for evidence that you're right. Reframing this as a learnable skill, even a difficult one, keeps you in a growth orientation. Your past is information. It is not your identity. Shift 2. Old thought. If I have to work on myself before I can be in a healthy relationship, I'll be alone forever. New thought. Working on myself is what makes me available for something real. The relationship I want requires a version of me I'm still becoming. We accept the love we think we deserve. Stephen Chbosky, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. That line isn't just poetic. It's predictive. Your nervous system will find and hold on to love at exactly the level of worthiness you feel inside. Raising your own baseline changes the kind of love that feels natural to you. Shift 3. Old thought. Healthy love feels boring. I need that spark or it doesn't count. New thought. What I've been calling spark was often anxiety. Real chemistry includes safety, and I am learning to find safety exciting. This one takes time. Your nervous system has been trained to associate love with unpredictability, with chasing, with highs and lows. A relationship that is consistently kind will feel strange at first, almost dull. That strange feeling is not a sign of incompatibility. It is the feeling of your nervous system recalibrating. Stay with it. Let it unfold. Boring stability can be the most radical choice you ever make. Here's what I want to leave you with. You are not someone who makes mistakes in love because you're not smart enough or self-aware enough or healed enough. You are someone whose brain was wired in specific ways, in specific environments, long before you had any say in the matter. You've been running on that wiring ever since. And calling it your personality, calling it your type, calling it fate, But here's the thing about wiring. It can change. Not overnight. Not because you watch one video or read one book. It changes through repetition, through catching yourself in the moment, through slowly, consistently choosing differently, even when differently feels wrong, even when safe feels boring, even when healthy feels unfamiliar. The goal is not to stop feeling deeply. The goal is to feel deeply and see clearly at the same time, to love with your whole heart and keep your eyes open. That's not a contradiction. That's maturity. That's what the relationships you actually want to build on. Love is not just a feeling. It is a choice renewed every day in the small moments when no one is watching. Eric from The Art of Loving. You can do this. Not because I'm being optimistic, but because your patterns have a logic, and logic can be understood, and what can be understood can be changed. That's not a hope. That's neuroscience. If something in this video landed for you, if you recognize yourself in any of it, I want you to leave a comment that starts with the words, "I finally understand why I," and finish that sentence honestly. Not for me, for you, because naming it out loud is the first step to something actually changing. If you want to go deeper on this, subscribe. Because next week, we're going to talk about something equally important and far less discussed. Why trauma bonding can feel like the deepest love you've ever experienced. And the specific signs that what you're feeling is a bond, not a foundation. You deserve to understand yourself this well. See you next week.